And I'm very pleased to see all you people here today, because it just lets me know that trade unionism is still alive. And also I'd like to say, yes, I was at Rothbury, and I often think about the day I was at Rothbury. It wasn't no picnic, I can tell you. I was 17-year-old. And I was there, and the chap next to me, his name was Wyburn, and we called him Wipey Wyburn. And he got shot in the arm, right next to me. And I fell off the fence with fright, and I'm not ashamed to say it. But anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, and trade unionists, I think this is a great day, and when I see all these people here, well, I could cry for what I've been through. I've been through more bloody strikes than anybody in this room. Safety strikes. Getting power boxes put in, getting proper cable put in, getting water put into mines. I've been through them all. Every one of them. 15 weeks, 12 weeks, 13 weeks, strikes to get things done for safety. I'm not much of a speaker, but I thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. On behalf of the International Longshoremen's Association in the U.S.,
Everybody to me.
Working People United can never be defeated.
Thanks very much.
That's right. Exactly.
All veterans have a very special place in the struggle.
My organisation, ILWU, was actually set up by agreement with the current ruling party of the country when it was still a liberation movement. And just before, well, a few years before the first democratic elections in the country, there was lots of talk between the internal labour movement in our country, the labour movement in exile, and of course the liberation movements. And we started planning what day one of a post-apartheid South Africa would look like. So we discussed land reform, trade policy, economic reforms, labour market reforms. And clearly for us, as a movement that was going to inherit an apartheid economy, an apartheid society, I mean, the challenges was going to be immense.
Women make really good unionists when they're engaged, when you bring them into the fold, and our union is making attempts to do that. As I say, with a couple of the women who have been employed in our union to get out there. It's my view that we need a little bit more in terms of leadership from the, by example, of having some more women lodge officials. But we've got quite a few on OC Health and Safety committees, and hopefully a little bit down the track we'll have more involvement of women up front and make the industry better all round for all workers.
We want to work as equals and in equal numbers. We want to educate others about our industry, educate others about unionism, and educate others about women's issues. Our role is to extend and to build the influence of women. Our role is also to break down the sexist and racist values among workers and employers. Our role in union campaigns is wide and varied. The women of the MUA worked tirelessly on the Your Rights at Work campaign for the federal election. We had women in polling booths across the country. We were at door knocking, letterbox dropping. We handed out flyers at train stations and universities.
Johnny Howard did something that no one's done in quite a while. He brought the community together with veterans, with workers, because what we had one aim, and that aim was to beat Johnny Howard, and he thought he had us beat. So comrades, the MUA veterans, along with other organisations, our friends in the RMA, the Retired Miners Association, went about on the 5th of February to make a commitment to support the workforce of Australia.
I come from a family background that were miners. My grandfather was a miner, my father and my great-grandfather were underground coal miners. My father got hurt in a mining accident and moved in to have his own earth moving company. I was 5 when this occurred, and ever since I was 5-year-old, I always grew up on earth moving machinery. By the time I was 20 years of age, I was experienced in operating heavy plant equipment. I then moved on to the coal mining industry. I worked for approximately 2 weeks and loved it. I was handed an AWA and was told that I had to sign the AWA within 3 days. It had clauses in it saying that I had to provide the company with 12 hours notice if I couldn't attend work, if I was going to be sick, or I'd lose a day's pay and be fined $200. I said I will not sign the AWA. They told me that they'd personally go out of their way to destroy me and make sure I never ever entered onto another Hunter Valley mine site again. I then took this to the federal court and pleased to report back that we settled with an out-of-court settlement, a substantial out-of-court settlement in March this year. I then joined the Your Rights at Work campaign, done a number of street stalls, got my story out to people, and people were horrified. They jumped on board straight away, and I heard so many stories that a lot of people think that I went through a lot. I'm nothing, I'm this big to some of the stories that are out there.
I started out in Cairns on a holiday, and I decided to start working for a dive boat operator. I thought it sounded like a pretty good deal that I could work for $30 a day and not have to pay for my courses. That was actually the equivalent to $3 an hour. After some time I got a little bit of a realisation that perhaps that wasn't such a good deal after all. After harassment issues and everything like that in the workplace, I actually left my job and decided to take through a back pay claim through the Office of Workplace Services, which is the governing body that Howard put in place in order to make sure people are being treated fairly and everything like that. After many months with absolutely no results, I decided to turn to the local Labor candidate, Jim Turner, and the Your Rights at Work campaign alongside with the Maritime Union.
It's absolutely great. What they're trying to do here is something that's needed to be done for many years. You've got delegates here representing 5 million unionists. If they can get together worldwide, there's absolutely nothing we can't achieve.
One of the things that continues to strike me is that how, for instance, MERS wants to have it both ways. They want to be viewed as a responsible citizen of the world, and at the same time, whenever they get an opportunity to profit from somebody else's misfortune, they take advantage of it.
We are identifying employers and who is employed by those employers and want to establish solidarity in that context.
All of the mining companies in my district now are owned by corporations that are offshore of the United States. So we're not in this struggle with just American corporations anymore. We're in this struggle with global corporations.
For unity, to protect our members, for the morality of the situation, we had to organize the owner-operators who were new immigrants in the United States, 100,000 independent contractors to haul containers from the ports. Because of the coalition with the ILWU on the West Coast, we succeeded 3 weeks ago in having the Port Commission of the Port of Los Angeles with 16,000 of these container hauling truckers, 16,000, voted to initiate a new model of trucking to require any trucking company that comes into that port to haul a container out or to deliver a container has to use new green trucks, that they have to use employee drivers. That's the key. That's what we could not succeed with up till now. And it's crucial in the United States, where independent contractors are prohibited by law because of antitrust considerations from organizing.
I thought growing up black in the South was tough. But now, being an adult and being union in the South is even much more difficult. The southeastern United States collectively represents now the 5th largest economy in the world. We are seeing an infusion of global capital, German, French and other European companies are investing very heavily in our region. Dubai just bought in the state of South Carolina nearly 2,000 acres to develop inland ports, distribution centers, and they're lining up, global companies are lining up to take advantage of that opportunity. So in South Carolina, where union density is extremely low, below 4%, we have to build regional models